Well, I was just about... Did you hear that? I was just about to start talking and a very loud motorbike went nearby somewhere. Good evening, everybody. All things being well and correct, you should be able to hear me. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to an evening of political discussion and peering behind the curtains to check for mushroom clouds. You're watching the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. Thank you for joining me this evening. Hope you're brewing nicely. Indeed, people. There's a storm coming, and I'm not just talking about the weather either. Very quiet on the news front since I was last with you. No significant development. I'm probably going to struggle tonight for content, if I'm entirely honest. Although I haven't really checked any of the news in the last 24 hours. I'll just thought it's probably... Oh, good grief. No, lots to talk about. Lots to talk about. As we speak, Iran are firing back at Israel, so this is a developing story. I'll be diving into that. There's going to be lots more as well. The latest from Gaza. UK politics news as well. Including a double-barrel tisk, which I might be turning into a new feature actually, tisk. Usually never short of contenders, especially in UK politics. But how's everybody brewing tonight? Let's see who's in the chat. Nina Sadie was first in the house. Great to see you, as always. Floor Snake's with us as well. As is the truth, but here on my left eye, the truth's always with us, is it not? Emma Richardson, great to see you as well. Morbius, Solidari-Tea, thanks for joining us, everybody. And Solidari-Tea for the watermelons and Palestine flags, of course, as always, at this channel, as well as a lot of viewers stand in solidarity with Palestine. That's one of the latest scenes from these air quotes aid distribution centres. A little bit more about that later on. But suffice to say for now, that's definitely not a scene that anybody would like to find themselves in. This could be a pretty tense stream, people, as this situation is developing. Of course, Israel struck Iran yesterday. I'll be talking about that as well as today's latest developments. But it's slightly odd, isn't it, people? I don't recall Iran taking any hostages on October 7, 2023. But I'm sure that Israel will think of a, again, air quotes, legitimate reason for attacking a foreign state yet again. But this time around, people, this could be the real deal. Be a heck of a lot worse than it was during, when was that, autumn last year, around September. And of course it's marvellous members who help to sustain the channel on my left eye, bring you these live streams. So a special shout out to everybody on the list. You can join the list, it's only 99 pence. Lots of perks for you to enjoy, please do check them out. And thanks to everyone who's renewed the memberships recently, as well as gifted to others, which has kept us over the recent milestone of 100 members. And I can see quite a few members in the chat as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Eddie, great to see you. Hope you're well tonight. Solidari-Tea. And if everyone can make sure you've hit thumbs up on the stream and subscribed if you're not subscribed already, please do so. You can join us in the chat for just 60 seconds later. Once you're subscribed. And chuck some of our content around social media if you'd be so kind. Thank you very much, everybody. And the time has come to get the chat up on the screen and let the good people be seen. Just have another sneaky check behind the curtains for mushroom clouds. No, I think, yeah, although there are just quite a lot of normal kind of clouds in the sky tonight. Could be battening down the hatches. Or happening down the batches, whichever you prefer. Just stay safe, people. Alright. Mobius, that, yeah. Are you referring to Crispin from not the 9 o'clock news? Oh no, sorry, not the sorry. Wrong reference. Wrong reference. Not the Andrew Marr show. Well, I'll come straight out and say it, people. I do know someone who's made a similar endeavour and has actually been detained, and that was the last we heard. Yeah, a friend of mine, I last saw them, it would have been in London on the final JSO march. Thanks for that feedback, Mo. Yeah, it's the same. Crispin, yeah, I think I've seen a few little snippets about his yeah, mission, his endeavour. That will be interesting. I've been trying to find news about this Turkish and Tunisian convoy as well, but there seems to be a bit of a lack of info about that. They were due to arrive yesterday, in fact. get onto that quite shortly, people. I'll be following a live broadcast of the Tel Aviv skyline as well whilst I'm going through the latest events, just in case anything happens whilst we're streaming. Because I do like a good live situation, people, as tense as things might be. Excuse me. Slight cough. Jacqueline, how you doing? How you brewing? Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks to everybody for choosing to kick off your weekend on My Left Eye. Another weekend's upon us. Well, what's the situation going to look like when we reconvene next week? Or even on the Sunday live stream? So quite a bit to keep our eyes and ears open for. Yeah, Crispin changed the name of his show to Crispin Flint Offshore. I did notice that. I am subscribed to his channel. I remember for a short period I thought he had 2 channels. No, it's just changed the name. So people, what are the odds of World War III starting on Friday the 13th? Be an interesting one for the history books. Well, in the UK at least there's only an hour and 45 minutes left of that notorious date, so fingers crossed, knock on wood, we should get through it without full escalation to World War III, but I think it's highly likely in the next couple of hours we can see some sort of activity in the Middle East. Yeah, Morbius, I'm feeling you there. In fact, full disclosure, people, I am doing this stream in but my shorts. Oh yes, it's hot in this studio. I don't have the fan on, which would be advantageous, but it actually kind of makes the air a little dry. Obviously it uses more lacquer. But I can't have my window fully open just because of traffic noise nearby and such. And it's Friday night, you know, people walk around and some of them aren't exactly sober this time of night, so yeah, but it's looking like it is going to be breaking soon. That is, a storm just needs to sort of break the air, I think. Anyway, let's not get on a tangent about the weather, although it is, humid. It's like muggy, you got muggy weather. And another thing about the weather.
We apologise for the interruption of this broadcast while Lefty goes off on a tangent. He's been given a cup of tea and will be back with you shortly. In the meantime, make sure you've hit the thumbs up button and left a comment down below. Thank you for your patience.
Well, if you think 40 degrees for the UK is entirely normal, then you must be absolutely fucking insane. Anyway, thanks for the cup of tea. What was I saying? I've forgotten. Anyway, let's move on to something else. A comedy interlude to kick things off. A very good one. This is the latest one from Broken News. Enjoy, people.
Welcome back to Broken News. Before we get the latest on the league table, a quick news update just coming in. The Israeli government has released a photo of who it believes to be the new leader of Hamas. They are said to be extremely dangerous and are not to be approached. Have you seen them? Can you help? Next, and after a string of poor results, climate change is now under threat of relegation from the News League table. It feels like months since we've even talked about them, and our sports reporter, Simon Plinth, joins us now with the latest. Hi, Si.
Cheers to beers. Yes, one of the biggest clubs.
Why are you talking like that?
Well, it's a sports report, isn't it?
You don't need to use that voice.
No?
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had to. So one of the biggest clubs in the world, Climate Change, have long been at the top or near the top of the mainstream media news agenda championship table. But despite being the thing that could wipe out humanity, it's languishing near the bottom of the league and doing much worse than it should be, like Manchester United.
Well, there is stiff competition these days, of course. You have other clubs been on a great run, clubs like Ukraine Wednesday, Middle East Conflict Albion and Second American Civil War Rangers. They've been climbing the table and many have been surprised by climate change's dip in form.
That's absolutely right. And, if we don't put anything on our website about the hottest month on record, or even bother reporting on floods, for example, is climate change even a big club anymore? Add to that many neutral fans have accused the club of using boring and repetitive tactics. End of the world this, mass starvation and devastation that. And even their star defender, Greta Thunberg, has lost interest and signed a big money deal with overseas side Gaza humanitarian effort Wanderers.
Yes, now, Simon, fans of climate change had hoped for a return to form ahead of the COP30 tournament in Brazil, but with the side recently losing a real six-pointer against Elon Musk's ket-fueled hissy fits, hopes are fading.
Yeah, and even mid-table clubs like UK Labour Party crushing disappointment Athletic, cost of living County and inane celebrity gossip Rovers, they're all on a better run of form. Of course, many people still think of climate change as a top-of-the-table sort of club, but while their great rivals Inevitable Nuclear Annihilation Wanderers have maintained their form, this current climate change squad just haven't been able to set the world alight in the same way.
I see what you did there.
What?
Simon, thank you. Simon Plinth there. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Broken News, really good one. And yeah, obviously so much going on in the world, but we do have to keep addressing the climate crisis and how we can stand up to the climate crisis. However, that does kind of interplay with what's happening at the moment between Iran and Israel, because one of the consequences already within the last 24 hours, oil prices have skyrocketed, which unfortunately means there's going to be more money pouring into the hand of fossil fuel companies who are destroying the planet. So they use the any conflicts internationally as an excuse to ramp up those prices, especially where countries, oil-rich countries in the Middle East are concerned. This is a classic example. There's a wider climate impact with conflicts as well, of course. The amount of materials, the amount of CO2 required, as well as long-term damage, not just from the conflict itself, but also in the efforts to rebuild. So it's exponentially increases in terms of CO2 use, unfortunately. It's just one of the other things, of course, that comes a lot of death and destruction and suffering because of it, unfortunately. Chris, hope you are well. Thanks for being here, and we've got a doctor in the house. How are you brewing, Doc? Looking slightly pessimistic tonight, but I can't say I'm not perhaps leaning that way myself. Yeah, we'll get the very latest in just a moment on this. Well, I've come so far without mentioning one thing that definitely has to be mentioned, and that's the nuclear element, which is, of course, what Israel have said is behind their reasoning for launching these attacks. An excuse that they've put forward for years now in multiple attacks on Iran. But like I said, this could be the big one. So, Israel, obviously the United States, Donald Trump would go along with them. In fact, the attack on Iran itself was vetoed, it was green-lit by Trump himself, whereas previous presidents have refused or resisted, refrained from doing similar things, or specifically attacking nuclear sites. Donald Trump has come straight out. He thinks it's an excellent thing. I think that was how he described the attacks by Israel on Iran. And, well, first of all, it's rank hypocrisy from both the United States and Israel, who are both nuclear armed states. Obviously, America has the second biggest stockpile in the world, behind Russia. And I am all for nuclear disarmament, 100% disarmament. I always have been. I don't know if you can ever recall the very first time you learned about nuclear weaponry. Perhaps you might have learned about the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks during World War II. And I believe, for me, when learning about that in history, that was the first time I became aware of it, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying, and we've had a lot of films and TV shows that have portrayed nuclear fallout, nuclear war. But if countries who already have arms criticise other countries who, well, being quite blunt, it's either that Iran only wants nuclear capabilities for energy consumption, nuclear power, even if they are constructing nuclear arms, which it's believed that they're doing in these facilities deep underground, then they can hardly be surprised, they can hardly be shocked And like I said, any criticism of it is rank hypocrisy. Because if their political enemies are armed to the teeth with nuclear weapons, then why wouldn't they want to do the same? And that's how it escalates. I'll play the latest. I've got a couple of clips here. I'm going to play one of the latest reports from the BBC before we go to an actual live stream of the skyline of Tel Aviv. But these are just some of the clips I've managed to pick up in the last couple of hours.
Himmel.
So that's very loud. Just needs resizing 1 second. So you can see here very clearly, even though earlier on it was reported that hundreds of rockets were shot out of the sky by Israel, they seem to be penetrating the so-called Iron Dome at the moment, which is shooting a certain amount of them down, but this looks like a very serious onslaught, and even if only a single-digit percentile of these rockets get through, that could still cause significant damage in Tel Aviv, and so far we know that there have been injuries as these rockets strike at mostly military targets as well. An airbase is confirmed to have been successfully targeted by Iran as well. You can see quite clearly there the direct hits. These are scenes from Tel Aviv earlier. The countermeasures, the anti-missile system, the Iron Dome system, you can see, well, I'll just leave that freeze frame up. You can see some successful interceptions there, but we're probably talking about some thousands of rockets being launched simultaneously as well. Huge amounts. This could potentially be the greatest test to the Iron Dome system since its creation, since its existence, which of course came about with great assistance from the United States of America, of course, because they're all about freedom. Oh yeah, they love a bit of freedom over there, don't they? You are free to do as we tell you. And more confirmed hits you can see there. This is from within the last 90 minutes. I do have another clip here which you can see, in which you can see a rocket going off just by the Israeli who's filming it. So it's very quiet at the beginning, but it's very close. Very close. Ooh. I'll just see that again.
Okay.
Right underneath where he was.
יו, אני בהלם. אני בהלם. יו. אני בשוק. אני פאקינג בשוק.
You need to get out of the building, you fucking retard. God. Okay. those were some of the latest clips that I've dug out. This is one of the latest news reports from the Beeb, and then we'll go over and check out the live proceedings, people.
We begin with breaking news from the Middle East as Iran launches retaliatory strikes against Israel. These are the live pictures from Tel Aviv, where we can see huge plumes of smoke rising over the city. It's not clear if they came from missile strikes or the interceptions, but emergency services say 7 people were injured on the ground, according to the AFP news agency. This is how it looked about an hour ago, with air defence systems intercepting missiles above Tel Aviv. And we've also seen a big explosion. Not sure yet what was hit and of any confirmed injuries, but we are getting some images suggesting that a building certainly has been hit and some reports of injuries. Our colleagues on the ground say they've heard several window rattling booms. Our reporter in Jerusalem has seen drones. Israel says it's continuing its airstrikes on Iranian military targets, meanwhile, following that first wave of attacks last night.
Yeah, they did actually manage to take out 3 of the high-ranking officials in the Iranian military. You'll have to forgive me, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but that has now been confirmed. Just before I came to you on the stream, there was an announcement from Iran describing how Israel would pay for their attack. They said that they were going to raise hell on earth and they were going to destroy Zionism. So while there have obviously been previous exchanges, I don't think I'm being too ahead of myself or hyperbolic if I say that I think this could be the biggest yet the most severe exchange. Pretty worried. There is one other particular element that I want to go into a bit more after I play some more of this latest Beeb report,
which hit nuclear sites and several targets in the capital. This video shows the aftermath of a new airstrike near Tehran,
concerning a particular person,
and Iranian media say the country's air defense
who's mentioned in this report. So I'll pause it when it gets to
also been heard in Isfahan.
him. It's a he.
It comes after several of Iran's military leaders and 6 of the nation's top nuclear scientists were killed, with state media reporting that civilians, including children, are amongst the dead. Iran's airspace has been closed indefinitely, forcing hundreds of flights to take longer routes around the conflict zone. And in the last couple of hours, Russia's leader, President Putin, has spoken to both the Iranian president and the Israeli prime minister, condemning the Israeli strikes and offering mediation between the countries.
This person on your screen, Vladimir Putin, as much as you might not like him, is going to be very significant in this. He's offered mediation, as they mentioned there, but he also already clearly is allied to Iran, who don't officially have nuclear weaponry at the moment, but with Russia's backing, they would have an ally that's the most heavily armed nuclear state in the world. And that would then, see, this could go either one of 2 ways, and I can't remember who was interviewing this guy. Sorry, not Putin, somebody else, an American commentator in a clip that I saw. But he believes if America go to war with Iran, even in a proxy fashion, which appears to be happening at the moment, then, excuse me, that is going to full escalate into nuclear war, depending on Putin's decision, or decision to act, decision to send military assistance, for example. So the next few days, and I think this will now go on potentially for more than a few days, this isn't some sort of venting, you know, like we've seen before between Israel and Iran. It's serious. This is serious, people. And thank you more for the gifted membership, and also to James Holmes for a gifted membership earlier on. Thank you both very much. Nice shot there, Morbius. Chris, enjoy your perks. And Bilderberg, but with a few numbers replacing letters. Almost threw me for a moment there. Great shots, back of the nets. Andy Carter, good to see you as well. How do you brew, sir? So I think I've made my points there. Yeah, just... pay attention to what Putin says about this. That's what I'll advise. Every sentence could be a hint.
Well, let me just show you also live pictures from New York, because the UN Security Council is about to start an emergency meeting to discuss the situation. We'll bring that to you live. The Iranian foreign minister has said that Israel has crossed every red line and the international community must not let these crimes go unpunished. Ione Wells, our correspondent, is in Jerusalem. Ione, just bring us up to date with what we know is happening in Israel.
Of course, it goes without saying so far that Israel's initial attack on Iran was against international law.
That's right. In the last couple of moments, Iran's state media and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard have confirmed that Iran is indeed trying to strike targets in Israel. They have said that they are launching the third round of missile retaliatory strikes on Israel.
She's in Jerusalem wearing a vest that says press. You might as well have a glow-in-the-dark t-shirt, a big neon sign strapped to your head with an arrow pointing down that says shoot here. And my dog's a goth, great to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you're brewing nicely.
So that explains why we have seen images of
just an aside
drones,
about the press.
of explosions, both here in Jerusalem but also in Tel Aviv as well. Now, just earlier this evening, from where I'm standing, I could see a couple of drones flying through the sky here, some of which seemed to end in what were quite big explosions. We heard bangs, we heard a sort of low rumbling noise echoing throughout the city.
You get this a lot. Obviously, it's dangerous them even being close to where this is going on. You want to be 1,000 leagues from there if you can help it. But the way that scenes are often described as things start to go on, and as though we didn't know that bombs go bang. Can you tell us more about the banging? Well, it was a loud banging sound. Oh, do bombs make a loud noise? Is it? Yes, we heard several loud noises, and so was it a whoosh bang, or was it just a straight bang? You know, they go back and forth as they have little information to report on.
Which has been something that our colleagues in Tel Aviv have been reporting as well. Now, as you touched on, it's not clear whether these explosions are the sounds of missiles hitting the ground or hitting targets here in Israel.
Are they hitting things? Do you think that they could be hitting things?
Or whether they are the sound of them being intercepted by Israel's defence operations. Now, certainly Israel has said it is working on intercepting missiles, but it's clear that attacks are continuing on both sides this evening. Earlier in the evening, we heard as well...
A random thought just came into my head. I pictured the production booth at the live news centre, and just someone going, "Oh, good, a building's been hit. Let's go to that." Cut to whichever camera, whichever scene that they're going to. It's just kind of weird, you know, that things like that will actually happen.
from Iranian state media that the Iranians were working on intercepting further missiles in Tehran as well, and that and the IDF confirmed that they had now hit 200 targets in Iran. That's double what they had reported previously in the day. So, as was widely expected, we are seeing further escalation this evening. As I say, that was not necessarily a surprise after both sides said that this was now a war. The IDF had said it's war. Iran's foreign ministry earlier had said that Israel's actions amounted to a declaration of war. So it was expected that this would continue this evening.
A declaration of what?
Of war.
A declaration of what?
Iran's foreign ministry earlier had said that Israel's actions amounted to a declaration of war. So
it's war. It's it's the day-to-day episode, isn't it? It's the day-to-day episode. The whole studio here just went red, and the word war is on every wall now. It's war. And then we're going to go live to the missiles with cameras strapped to the tip as it goes into a soldier's face, down his mouth and his esophagus, and explodes. Oh, no. I make light of it, people, but this is bad. This is bad. When such language is being used, yeah. Is it war?
Iran's foreign ministry earlier had said that Israel's actions amounted to a declaration of war. So it was expected that this would continue this evening, and we're waiting to see what the extent
Which you don't really
of
get
damage
these
will
days.
be throughout the night this evening.
Only whilst for now in Jerusalem. Thank you very much.
That is declarations of war. Generally, throughout recent history at least, fighting has just started happening, and then people have turned around and declared it as a war later. Or maybe they asked, excuse me guys, sorry to interrupt you, blowing each other's faces off, but is this a war? And they both turn around and simultaneously say, of course this is a war, you idiot. Nicola, how you doing? Well, yes, she was quoting was it the foreign minister? We'll just go back and hear that one more time.
After both sides said that this was now a war, the IDF had said it's war. Iran's foreign ministry earlier had
war.
said that Israel's actions amounted to a declaration of war. So
yeah. I really, really, really don't want it to be true. This YouTube channel certainly doesn't have a, oh great, it bleeds, it leads kind of attitude that perhaps the US mainstream press are famous for. But I really don't want this to happen. I want to be on the live stream that announces world peace. I want to be on the live stream that announces a free Palestine and a ceasefire in Gaza. I want to be on the live stream that reports that governments are actually doing something to tackle the climate crisis. I want to report that species have been saved, that we've managed to stop XYZ tipping point from happening. These are the things that I want to be reporting on, not war. But of course, this is something that could go on to affect everybody in the entire world. You do have to sort of, it's kind of strange when you do political commentary, when you do sociological commentary, you have to sort of constantly perceive it from the side of people who you very often don't like. But in doing so, it helps you get to the root of the situation, to know what whoever it is might be thinking can be a great advantage. Just see what's happening in the chat. I'll get the live I'll get the live feed of Tel Aviv skyline in just a moment. Jacqueline makes a very good point there. You say it wouldn't be surprising if Israel was acting as a proxy for the West. That is pretty much what is happening, we have to be honest, don't we? It's more or less the 51st state of America. We're on board as well, as you point out there. And it's payback for all the support that the US and the UK have given Israel over the last, well, 20 months, or, well, it's been decades. 80 years, nearly. Shameful. I'll grab this live feed now for you people. If we could have a bit of music, please, Philip. The mute producer who definitely exists. Also, another thing that's worth referring to is when Benjamin Netanyahu stood up at the United Nations and went, well, we're going to take a piece of this country and that country as well, and we're going to go for Iran. So there's no debate in Israel's plans to illegally seize territory. And that was quite a while ago, as I recall. It was probably about a year ago when that happened. Nina Sadie, thank you very much for the gifted membership, and Andy Carter as well. Idiosyncrasy. And Tariq Kawaja, please do enjoy your perks if you're watching. Perhaps later on. Alright. What was it? Let's see what's happening. Oh, I do think there might have been some goings on. Since I've been on the stream, just bear with me. Just letting the chat on screen catch up as well. Apologies if it gets a bit laggy here and there, but you will be heard, people, and you will be seen. My left eye will see you. Which one am I going to use? Yes, Morbius, the Legion grows. We are now centurions. Not to say we're 100 years old. How dare you? How dare you? But we're not that old, but we are growing in number. I think just go with the sky stream. It's still there, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure if they were still streaming it here, but... Right, I'm not going to play it while they're just doing this studio bit. I'm just having another look for a alternative source here. They did have one earlier. There's one on the Sun page, but I'm absolutely 100% not going on that motherfucking thing. I'd rather cut me fucking left eye out. Okay. Oh, they've got 2 streams at the moment. So which is which? I'm just going to keep it open, but not on screen. I'll cut back when we get to that shot again. I've got other things to go through while we wait for that. Oh, there's ooh. Was that live? Probably. Netanyahu might be addressing the Iranians, but just waiting for an advert to finish before I see if that's a live thing. It's a non-skippable, it won't be long. In the meantime, make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button on the stream, people. You know you want to, you know you need to. Oh, it is. Right, I hope there's a live translation, because well, don't speak Hebrew, so... Let's see what this absolute fascist has got to say. Well, I just want to come in here. Every accusation is obviously a confession. That's what you see with narcissistic, maniacal, deluded, fascist, authoritarian, land-stealing bastards like this guy. Okay? What else was he saying there? Obviously, the usual yada yada yada. Since the days of something that never happened. Trying to make up something about events 3,000 years ago that didn't actually happen as part of this obvious bogus claim to that land. Was the audio not coming through? Oh, sorry. Oh, Christ. Alright, I'll just go back. Just crank that up.
Stand up and let your voices be heard.
Is that better? It was only on about 50% before. I don't know if it was coming through.
Life, freedom, zan, zandegi, azadi. As I said yesterday and many times before,
Let's skip forward.
Israel's fight is not with you.
Well, it is, because they're the people who you're attacking. Obviously the fight's as much with the civilian population. Look at that. Oh, sorry, it's just buffering a moment, but check out that stir. I was right down the lens. The evil stuff. It's like...
It's not with you. The brave people of Iran respect and admire. Our fight is...
I'm going to skip forward. Well, it looks like... yeah, quite a rant, this. Just go live.
threatens to destroy
By my reckoning, this has been going on for about 20 minutes as we came to it.
the state of Israel. The objective of Israel's military operation is to remove
it's to remove the entire Gaza population. Yeah, we know that. Sorry about the buffering here, people. One moment. Just make a couple of quick adjustments.
this threat, both the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat to Israel. And as we achieve our objectives, we're also clearing the path for
I am glad that we didn't join it at the start, though. I wouldn't have lasted 20 minutes.
we're also clearing the path for you to achieve your objective, which is freedom. In the past 24 hours, we've taken out top military commanders, senior nuclear scientists, the Islamic regime's most significant facility, and a large portion.
That's not something to gloat about. Attacking nuclear facilities is abhorrent.
More is on the way. The regime doesn't know what hit them. They don't know what will hit them. The nation of Iran and the nation of Israel have been true friends since the days of Cyrus the Great. And the time has come for you.
Oh, I think it might be on a loop.
Unite around your flag and your historic legacy.
Yeah, there was some sort of cut there.
Standing up for your freedom from an evil and oppressive regime. It has never been weaker. This is your opportunity to
I
stand.
think it's on a loop.
And let your voices be heard. Woman, life, freedom. Zan.
Well, there's only a limited amount of Netanyahu I could take, and I think that was on a loop, so...
Azadi.
It's trying to haunt me. I'll just go back and see if they've got the skyline back live again. Sorry about the buffering there. There was just a minor technical difficulty.
As you can see, we're experiencing a minor technical difficulty here on my left. Our team of expertly trained technicians to restore the stream. In the meantime, I'm sure that hit the thumbs up button harder than you'd like to hit a star in the good and left a comment down below. Thank you.
Okay, people. Where's the music? Antonia, thanks for joining us in the chat. How are you brewing? There's still no footage of the skyline out. I'll check back on that in just a moment, but where should we go to? Just go through a few other stories before we come back to this developing situation. Yes, Andy, ironically, the technical difficulty clip had a technical difficulty. Just a very quick mention on this first though. Just the latest on another continuing situation, the LA protests obviously against the ICE. Where the National Guard got involved and then that was stopped by a judge, but now an appeals court has temporarily blocked the block, basically. So the National Guard can go back to California temporarily, but that's a very bad decision, I think. It's going to be unconstitutional. So it's the first time they've been deployed since the days of LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson. course. Trump's actually got a birthday coming up, and the ceremony for that is expected to cost some hundreds of millions of dollars. There's going to be some sort of military display, which logistically has involved the resurfacing of a large amount of roads because of all these heavy military vehicles coming through and just, well, smash the normal roads to pieces, I guess. And he's going to be 79. But there's also a counter protest coming up, the Not My King protest, which is apparently going to take place in many cities across America. I'll try and keep my left eye on that one. That's a good concept, the Not My King Day. I like that. Because he does see himself as king, obviously, Trump. There's no denying that. He doesn't understand the processes of American politics. He doesn't understand House of Representatives, the Senate, doesn't understand the judiciary. For somebody who's been in court so many times, has been convicted, is a felon, you'd think he might be a little bit familiar with those kind of things, but he acts as though they simply don't exist. So I think that's a very bad decision from that judge. And well, a few of these articles I'm just going to quickly go through now concern judgments and things like that. So you'll recall that Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell were questioned by the police when they were at one of the big Palestine rallies in London a few months back. I'm sure you'll all remember that, so I'm just turning down the background music a bit loud. But there's going to be no action over that, which is obviously the right decision. And they were arrested just as you come onto Trafalgar Square, just some yards away from where I was detained once doing the JSO queer block, and that's where the incident with the car during the last JSO march was as well. The one that started to nudge into us despite our appeals. And I was between the car and a group of people. I thought my only option was going to have to be to get onto the bonnet of the car. You know, to avoid getting crushed or pulled under the car. And at that point, I think the police pulled him out of the vehicle. Anyway, so it's quite a hot spot, that part of Trafalgar Square. I'll be honest, I thought this had already been decided when they spoke to him. I didn't know that, you know, that's quite a wait for them to find out that there was no further action. It's normally 28 days, but then it can be extended. For example, after one of my actions with, this one was with Youth Demand, where I was arrested. It was extended about 3 or 4 times, and we had to go to the police station, which is quite far away from where all of us live. One of us, in fact, came from the south coast, and it kept getting extended and extended until we found out there was going to be no further action. So maybe that is what's happened in this case, but it was ridiculous anyway. We know that it was kind of a setup, as one of these senior officers allowed people through, and then other officers instructed people to go through, and then they were arrested for being there. Ridiculous. So that's good to see that there's no further action on that. I know I just mentioned JSO and Youth Demand stuff. Wanted to quickly point out as well, there were a group of 8 people acquitted a couple of days ago, a group of friends of mine, for an action at an airport, so that was really good to see. Every single one in the group was found not guilty. But unfortunately, people, I do have more bad tidings, and it is indeed a tisk-tisk moment as we take a look at some other charges being made against a former Conservative MP who's among 15 in courts over this betting scandal. Do you remember there were arrests over some unusual betting patterns, specifically on when the last general election would be held? Just happened to have some pretty close connections to people like Rishi Sunak. So it's Craig Williams of Montgomeryshire who's amongst the 15. It follows an investigation by the Gambling Commission into alleged betting on the date of the election. Tisk tisk. Say with me in the chat. Tisk tisk. I'm going to have to come up with a meme or something for this. Tut tut. Tisk tisk. They'll also appear again at Southwark Crown Court on July the 11th. So you remember, when was it? 22nd of May 2024. Over a year ago now, Rishi Sunak announced the general election would be held in the pissing rain. Of course, how could we forget that? Which was quite a surprise at the time. Some people thought it would be further down the line. But I guess Rishi thought he knew it was coming. It was an attempt at damage limitation, and he also wanted to piss off to California as soon as he possibly could. And we don't hear from him anymore, do we? He's not one of these who, as soon as they step out, they want to be back in the public light again. Like Liz Truss, you know. God, what she's doing in America is just a pure embarrassment to the country. Well, she's just a general embarrassment to the fucking planet, to the human race. Okay, so the others are Simon Chatfield, Amy Hind, Anthony Hind, probably related. Hey, relative, perhaps sibling, I don't know. I've got a hot tip for you. Thomas James, Scarlett Lang, Ian Makepeace, Nick Mason, Paul Place, and James Ward. The other defendants. Keep you posted on that one, but tisk tisk. Tut tut tisk tisk. Insider trading, you know, it's probably something that these kind of people aren't unfamiliar with. Possibly even the former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak himself. Speaking of the overprivileged, he professionally segues. I don't know if you saw this one earlier, but it certainly made me do a double take. Now, how many times have we heard Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves say there really isn't anything at all to spare in the public purse? That's why they're having to take these difficult decisions and cut the public services. But we're not gaslighting people, we're just telling the nation that we're doing well at the same time as apologising for doing badly and making so-called difficult decisions. Because it can be both, because we're Keir Starmer's Labour. However, with them saying that there's no money down the back of the sofa, obviously plenty for war, that goes without saying, but domestically there's not a penny. They've looked under the fridge, they've checked the pockets in the laundry. Nothing, not a bean. However, they seem to have found quite a significant amount of money for some refurbishments at the House of Lords. Now, before I put the article up, the refurbishment in question is only the front door to the House of Lords. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe my left eye. I couldn't believe my left eye when I saw the cost to replace the door at the House of Lords. Now, I would like you to consider the value of the property, you may or may not know it, that you're in at the moment. If you're a homeowner, you're probably more than aware, but if you're renting, don't know if you are or aren't aware, but have a guess. Have a rough guess, okay? But keep it to yourself. You don't have to put it in the chat. That's obviously personal information. In fact, it's considered rude to ask such questions in certain countries. Anyway, so compare that figure to the one I'm about to show you on the screen, which, remember, is only for the front door of the House of Lords. When Labour have slashed PIP, they've slashed winter fuel payments for pensions, pick any of them, pick any of the cuts that you like. But if the House of Lords need a front door that's going to cost almost £10 million, then they can have it. And they can have it quick. £9.6 million, that's way over $10 million. That's going on, what, 12 million US dollars for the front door. $20 grand, Odin. Oh no, it's beyond that special. It's, you know, it's a magic door. You walk through it and £400 appears in your bank account. That's the kind of magic door it is. I'm not even making that up. If you are a lord of the realm and you go in and you sign in, you get 400 quid. You don't even have to go into the chamber. You just have to sign the registry. It's just right there. Through that, you go through that door, and on the right, and then a couple of people say to whatever dinosaur it is, "Good morning, my lord." And they sign the thing. 400 quid, bish bash bosh. Where's the bar? The public subsidised bar, I should add, by the way. And there's only one place in the UK where it's legal to smoke in a bar. And do you know where that is, people? Yes, that one of the many House of Commons bars and the House of Lords. So the 400 quid will go in further because not only is that money on us, the taxpayer, also the subsidised drinks that they're having in their we can't have any women in here, you see. No. Oh, it's like a time module. It's like a doorway to the past. 9.6 million pounds, people. What the fuck is going on here? Let's see what's happening. Some peers have criticised the new front door to the House of Lords after ministers revealed it costs 9.6, and it still doesn't work properly. Is it supposed to be an automatic door, and it doesn't function? 9.6 million pounds? How? What's it made out of? Fucking saffron? Why is it worth... Why did it cost 9.6 million pounds? This is like some straight up cowboy stuff going on here, people. What's going on? Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. So it's gone a bit over cost. Unfortunately, it's going to come to 9.6 million pounds. And the other thing is, Gav, this might be hard to take. It doesn't exactly work at the moment, but we'll be back. Well, maybe next week. I've got a 3-week holiday in Turkey. I'm getting my teeth done, and then maybe when we get back after, well, if you talk to Charlie in about 6 months, we'll see what we can do for you. All right, son. So just sign there, mate. Yeah. Fucking hell. What the fuck has been going on? Cowboys are us are in town, people. I'm aghast. 9.6 million. Fuck me. It was only supposed to cost 6.1. Look at this. Which, oh yeah, cheap as chips. Again. Picture the figure in your mind of the value of your property. You could get a deposit on a London flat for that. Fucking hell. I can't believe what I'm reading. Despite the increased cost, Baroness Smith also said it remained unclear if the door will ever be fully operational. Oh, God. That is bad. That is so bad. I can't believe it. Now, it's obviously a listed building and whatnot. It's fucking ancient, that place. It really is. And it's in constant disrepair. It's a bastard to heat because it's like half a millennia old. And now this. Well, that's tradition, isn't it, I guess. What do you think about that, people? No wonder HS2's run over budget. Do you remember what I was saying the other day on stream about large-scale infrastructure projects like HS2? We always fuck this up. Oh, it's gotten way beyond that now. Now we... There wasn't a single mason. that could do the job properly. Oh, I can't believe it. I literally want to do I'm going to go to London and just do a piece on this door. I've got to go. It has to be done. What the fuck is all this about? £9.6 million? I'm going to go around London and I'm going to say to every homeless person I come across, come with me. Come with me, I'm going to show you. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm staggered. I don't want to linger on that for too long. I'll try and get back to see if there's a live stream at Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or wherever. But let me know what you think about that in the chat or in the comments if you're watching back on replay. Please make sure that you've checked you've liked, thumbs up the stream. Even if it was like £9.5 grand, I'd have maybe still thought that was a bit cheap. For some hinges and a few bits of glass and, you know, sensors and things like this for automatic doors are cheap as anything these days, you know. Infrared stuff's very abundant, but £9.6 million. And it was, you know, at some point deals were done. And I think that'd be worth looking into. I'm not exactly sure that the full £9.6 million might have gone into the costs and labour, you know what I mean? Could be worth looking into. But at some point, somebody went, £6.1 million for a door? That's a bargain, I'll take it. But that's just an estimate, of course. Areas, of course. You seem very trustworthy, and you'll have the job done soon, and it'll be fully functioning, won't it? You know, I think they got absolutely hook, line, and sinkered there. We've got a stream on the AP, Associated Press people. Let's see what's happening there. God, it's a barren wasteland, isn't it? Oh no, it's just buffering. I'll sort this out now. Yes, very Marie Antoinette-esque. Just checking this live feed is actually working. Yes, there does seem to be some activity here. I'll play it without the sound for now. I'll just have it very, very low. Let's see if this gets going. Sorry, it's using up a bit of CPU. Just put it on a slightly lower resolution. And then we'll see if there's anything ongoing. But I've overlaid your chat, and that's not the chat for the stream that you're seeing, it's the chat for the stream that you're watching, if that makes sense. So, for anyone who's just joining us, the chat on the right is My Left Eye's live stream chat, not Associated Press, just in case there's any confusion there. Oh, come on, don't be a dick. Apologies, people. My broadcast software's just been a bit of a dick at the moment. Just milking the last, what, 25 minutes of a superstitiously unlucky day. I'm not particularly inclined myself. Trixidecaphobia, I believe it's called. Right, I think it's resolved itself now. I'm just turning their chat off so I can have it on a higher resolution. It's still very, very muggy in here. We've not had any storms breaking through yet. No mushroom clouds either, so I'll take that, you know. There's just something else needs my attention here, people. I'll be right back with you. Just a quick moment. Alright, people. Thanks for your patience, sir. Soul Life, welcome to the chat, and Graham Turner as well. Solidarity to you both. Well, this is live now from Tel Aviv. All eyes on the sky. Just hoping the resolution picks up a bit. So it doesn't look like there's been any activity, well, not in recent minutes anyway. I can't see any smoke or anything, but I'm keeping the rolling news report feed up as well, just in case anything develops. This is of Tel Aviv. There might be strikes elsewhere, of course. So yeah, look at all the skyscrapers that America helped them pay for with their blood money. I don't know if you've ever met anybody from Tel Aviv. Don't mean people who've moved there, expats from whichever country, Europe or America, they might have migrated to Tel Aviv from, but I have. And all it did was confirm my ultimate suspicions, and not just one person, multiple people. There is certainly a level of indoctrination going on within Zionism, as we all know, and it's just essentially you can boil it down to the worst combination you can imagine of fascism and just ruthless exceptionalism, which is obviously formed within the definition of fascism, this sort of the superiority complex that lies within on a huge macro scale, and obviously usually targets a particular race or people. But it was just right there, as well as how much they bang on about the place, almost as if they're a walking, talking tourist board who are. And it's, you know, I want to say culty, that's with an L. I want to be very clear on that, because I had last Sunday's live stream is still demonetised because I used a certain word too many times, one that may or may not rhyme with Jeremy Hunt. But back to the point in hand, just this sort of the fantastical view that they had of where they're from, and yeah, people are proud of where they're from. If I talk to people who aren't from Manchester or whatever, I'm the same, you know. It's a great city and whatnot. Maybe you don't, you know. I know a lot of people in London who despise the place or whatever, wherever you're from. But this was on another, a whole nother level. Like, you know, come to this great city and join our mad crazy cult. With an L. They're nuts, they're batshit crazy people. What can you say? It's a modern day tragedy. Right, there's it's all quiet over in Tel Aviv at the moment. Let's see what the latest news feed is saying in that case. You couldn't see that, but the actual chat on the Associated Press there There's a few Zio trolls in there, but mostly support for Iran and criticism of Israel, what you could see. There's a few who are just literally posting alternate flags between the Star Spangled Banner and Israel's flag, which has appropriated the Star of David, which isn't even a historical Jewish symbol, by the way. I think he did this last time. Apparently, we'll go into this now. We heard a bit of it in that speech earlier from Netanyahu, although, again, apologies for the buffering. But trying to tempt the population of whichever country is bombing to rise up against its leaders, as though they're going to be on Israel's side, the side that has been bombing them and oppressing them for years now. Again, just like the walking, talking tourist board people of Tel Aviv, this is just the same, you know. You're one of us, you know. You're on our side, aren't you? They literally believe it, you know. Of course, a lot of politicians and whatnot know that they're lying when they lie, but I think there's certainly a disproportionate amount of people, Zionists that is, who genuinely believe it. They genuinely believe it. It's scary. And by definition, that's fanaticism. It's fanaticism. Alright, so the last report came in just a few minutes ago or so, about 7 minutes ago. Let's see what's been happening. Moments ago, sirens went off again in Jerusalem for a couple of minutes. It's approaching 1:30 here, so that'll now be 1:47. Nearly 24 hours since they went off first last night. Out of the window, the reporter could see multiple drones flying through the sky and heard loud noises and explosions, close explosions. The windows were shaking. A siren app widely used in Israel is showing a red alert for the entire country. As we've been reporting, it's difficult to tell whether these sounds are of strikes or Israel intercepting Iran's retaliatory attacks, which this said before. Israeli ambassador Danny Danon's gone to the United Nations, although it appears he's just gone there to spout a load of propaganda, obviously. But there were celebrations in Tehran after the strikes hit Israel. There's some pictures there. The last I heard, everybody darted into these shelters when the sirens were going off, but they've since emerged, but they've been told to stay close to the shelters. This is something that could go on through the night, of course. So latest numbers are 78 have been killed and 320 have been injured. that is in Israel's attack on Iranian nuclear facilities and civilian infrastructure. 320 people are injured. So this just confirms what we've known all along. Like I said, Israel are just the 51st state, the lapdog of America. Is the United States of America either Iran or Israel? No, it isn't. Then why does it have a decision in whether one of those two countries attacks the other one? It's as simple as that. Another thing this also confirms, like I mentioned earlier, Israel and its intentions don't have the excuse any longer that they're looking to take out Hamas or get the hostages returned. We know that's bollocks. This just reinforces that. There's no hostages from October 7th, 2023 in Iran. There's no Hamas in Iran. They are allied. But I'm just making the point about the excuses that Netanyahu uses for his constant aggression. It's like he can't be satisfied. There's just been the thing with the flotilla. There's obviously the ongoing blockade, the siege of Gaza. The aid isn't getting through. This also, for Netanyahu, will act as some sort of distraction from that. Now, being accused of the kind of crimes that he is, you'd think that he'd want to keep a low profile, but again, this just shows his lack of respect for the law, absolute recklessness, absolute insane dedication to this Zionist cult with an L. He needs to be stopped. This needs to stop. Just a short while before I came on stream, there were reports of a captured Israeli pirates. No, that was last week. The pirate thing was last week when they kidnapped Greta Thunberg and the Madeleine passengers. So this is an Air Force pilot. After reports from Iranian media that they've been captured, they've said it's not true. A report from Iran's Tasnim news agency says the country's air defence has shot down 2 Israeli fighter jets, and the pilot of one of those jets, who is a woman, has been captured. Avichai Adrei, a spokesman in Arabic for the Israel Offense Forces, oppressive forces, says fake Iranian media. This news is being spread by... Oh, yeah, they wouldn't know anything about fake media. So, obviously, the strikes on nuclear facilities by Israel have been widely condemned, and rightly so. It does appear at the moment, although there are still obviously measurements and tests taking place, but the radiation level in the area seems to be normal at the moment, fortunately. but there were fires and explosions at the plants. So sites at Fordo and Isfahan have been hit, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency chief Rafael Grossi. Speaking at a meeting for the UN Security Council, he says Iranian authorities informed them, but they don't have any more information. He adds that part of the Natanz facility had been destroyed in the strikes from early on Friday morning, including the above-ground plant. And Israel are trying to play down the amount of missiles that have come from Iran. So that seems to be the very latest on that, people. I'll be catching up with that. This is an ongoing developing situation, but more from me on this on the Sunday live stream. I'm sure you'll be joining me there. BCAT, thanks for joining us. Hope you be good tonight. Hope you're brewing well. Let's see what else you're talking about in the chat. Soul Life, that's a good point. Why is Iran opting for drones instead of stuff that's harder to intercept at the moment? There could be perhaps a build-up, a crescendo that's happening. They're not trying to go too heavy too soon, perhaps. They're testing what they can get away with this Iron Dome system, I think, at first. In chess, the pawns go first. So that's what I would hypothesize is the reason behind that. And it looks like it's been effective. We saw earlier just how many appeared to be getting through. At about 15. Going over the horizon, comments just horizon. Another one through. So getting there. Alright people, just want to give another shout out to the members on the channel. Let's get as well to the end of the stream. Gifted tonight as well. Solidarity for that. More marvellous members. Thanks again. So I'll have a quick look for a raid as well, just as we get towards the back end of the stream. Who's live? Who's live? Thank you very much, members. The Brew Crew, marvellous members. Ah, cool, we've got No Justice. And, oh, it says last stream before vacation. Apparently, Helena's having a holiday. Easy on the iteration, but we'll be going over to No Justice at the end of the stream. Just one more reminder to you all that the Brews at 10, the album, is currently not available anywhere.
Do you like a hot tasty beverage with your music? Then my left eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place.
Volume 10 is now available, featuring Nothing Compares to TU, Sinead O'Connor, Get On Cup, James Brown, Hold Tea, Thrill Tea, Kiss Tea, Kill Tea, Brew 2, You Can't Brew That, The Beatles, Tea in the Sahara, The Police, plus many more. Order now.
Alright people, I did have a couple of other bits I wanted to catch up on, but I'll save that for Sunday, just because it's getting a bit late now. So thanks for joining me on the stream. This has been the Brews at 10. I've been your host Lefty. You've all been wonderful as well in the chat. Thanks for joining me this evening. Do stick around though and join us at No Justice. I'll see you over there in just a moment. But if you're watching back on a replay or whatever, take care everybody. My Left, I'll be seeing you soon. Free Palestine and power to the people. Good night. Well, people, I've just come back in at the end of the stream to say, which is something I don't very often do, but perhaps the most awkwardly bizarre thing you can imagine while streaming has actually happened. The person I was about to raid into has actually raided into my channel, so a very good warm welcome to those joining us from No Justice. However, I was just finishing off the stream myself, but I hope you're all well. For the brief time that you're here, please make sure that you've hit thumbs up button on the stream, and do subscribe if you're not a member of the channel. This is all about politics and society from a left-wing perspective, but please feel free to skip back and just watch some of the stream we've just had. Barring one or two technical glitches, it was pretty good. Obviously a tense night with the ongoing situation between Iran and Israel, and a few other bits and pieces in there as well, so please do skip back once again and enjoy. So yeah, that was, I don't know, what are the odds, what are the chances, but it does happen. But I am a viewer of No Justice myself, and of course the channel is always a friend of ours here at My Left Eye. So thank you very much, Helena, for the raid, if you are actually watching yourself. But I was just about to do a raid into you as well. You know, what can you do? So I guess I'll just see if anybody else was live. I'm not sure that they were. I saw a few scheduled, but obviously Helena's either watching or has logged off, so probably raiding into a scheduled one, to be honest. I'm not doing the outro again. I'll just be awkwardly cutting off. So let's see who's on. No, that's not that one. There's still that Rathbone one on there that was from May. So I think the next one that is actually coming up is Navarra. So we'll raid into that. If you want to hang around for a couple of days there, feel free. But no, seriously, it's been great to have the raid in from No Justice, as sort of weird and awkward as it was. But that will be it from me for this evening. You take care, everybody. Once again, My Left Eye, I'll be seeing you soon. It was sooner than you thought last time, wasn't it? Okay, good night.